I wanted to talk to you all today about this Bridge City Toolworks HG-4 honing guide. I used it to sharpen up this chisel here, which does have now a mirror finish and is sharper than the Dickens. I can shave off end grain no problem, as sharp as a razor. This is what comes with it, these two pieces here. This is supposed to be a guide, a setup gauge to help you determine the exact position for a degree that you want to hit. I'm not convinced this thing's useful just yet. Granted, I have not used it a bunch, but you'll see why. So anyway, I was able to get this set up really nice for this chisel. I'd actually sharpened this by hand recently and had a little bit of a bow, or it's not a cupping, so whatever the opposite of a cup is, a little hump on here. And so I balanced that hump so it had the exact amount of daylight shining through both sides here, and started at 600 grit, went up to 3000, hit it with the ceramic and then a strop, and mirror finish, razor sharp, works like a charm. Then I thought, well, I'll show you guys how to do it on this chisel, because this chisel could use a little bit of love as well. But the problem is the way that you put this device in here is like so. You need to have, give me a second here, you need to have that centered so that this can be clamped by this. And so when you do that, as far forward as this device will go, there's no way I can show this to you, but you need to trust me that that angle is not that angle there. There is not enough there. And actually, I noticed another problem. You can see I'm actually on this. So then I would need to screw that in. That lifts that mechanism up. Now I'm up off. And now you can see by a long shot that I am not down. So to fix that, I need to push this further that way. But I can't do that because of this screw. Obviously, I moved that a little bit so I could move this a little bit more forward now. But now it's hitting here. So, bottom line, trust me, this blade is too short with what is going on here in the handle to use this on. So, that's a bummer. But I do have this old Ace, new, but shitty Ace brand whatever the hell these are called. Plane is the word that I was looking for. And this thing is about as sharp as a butter knife. So we're going to take it apart and get it put in here, and I'll show you this device in action. We'll start at 300, go to the strop. Give me a minute, be right back as I put this onto here. So this is where I'm going to try to show how this setup guide might be useful. So first I need to know what degree this is. So stuffing this into here at these different 25, 30, 35, 20, you know, will tell you a general idea of where this should be. This particular blade has a double bevel on it, so I'm not actually going to use the double bevel. I'm going to grind it down to a 30 all the way across to a mirror finish. Then I'm going to come back and reset this whole thing to 35 and just hit it with my, probably starting at 2200, go to 3000 and into the strop to give it that double bevel edge. Anyway, so after fussing with this, you're mostly moving this back and forth this way by loosening this, sliding it forwards or backwards. I kind of set this deal in the middle so I can fine tune up or down when I'm done. So then what you can do is set this in here, and what you're looking for, see if I can show it, is for this part here to be flat on that blade, because that's what's gonna set you at exactly 30 degrees. And with this particular blade, that actually sets right on that first bevel that they have factory. So this is good to set a fat blade at an exact pitch. Otherwise you wouldn't really know what degree you're going for unless you were just trying to match the factory one, which is basically kind of what I did anyway to begin with, and then thought, well, I'll just grind it out at 30 and then 35 just because I got this and I can. Otherwise, without this, I would have just found that factory edge and run it. And then if I wanted a double bevel, well, I would have just let it lift up a little bit more and run a double bevel. And for this particular cheap Ace brand plane, found my words, it wouldn't have mattered one lick. So now we got this ready to go. Let me get this camera set up so you can see me actually doing the work, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so somehow I deleted the video that shows me actually sharpening this, but let's take a quick look at the result. This is similar to Rob Cosman's method, the unicorn method. There's various names. I'm saying Rob Cosman because I really enjoy his method, and that's actually the method I'm using for sharpening now. This is months later on this video, but we're going to go back over this honing guide because I do want to release that video and finish it. Here you can see the double bevel I put into this. It is really perfectly straight across the width from that corner on that corner. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Unedited. So first thing is, we need to get this in the guide, and we want this bit centered on here as well as we can. And so we're going to bring that down to here, about. And then we're going to see where we are here. Okay, need to come out, and what I'm looking for basically is showing you guys how you would use the tools provided, and then we're going to augment from there. So Again, can't really see this on the camera. It's just too small to pick up. But inside of there, we are trying to get 0 gap. So instead of this thing, I'm actually going to bring over a 1000 grit plate, and I'm going to set this on there, hold it, and I'm going to look on the side. And I have this actually really close right now, but I'm going to look on that side. Let me see if I can get it even better for this camera view. I'm going to really try for you. So yeah, see how close that is? I mean, it's almost dead flat. Again, it's just really impossible to get that view on the camera without a magnifying glass. But as I hold it up to my eyes and look, I can actually see just a micrometer of microcentimeter off. So I'm going to bring it up a touch, twisting this knob until I think it's perfectly flat. And then the way we would use this, spray a little home guide on here. All right, so before I actually sharpen, what I want to show you is the way that this guide screws up this edge. So the width here will end up being wider than the width here. And the only way to fix that is to skew this thing. That's exaggerated, but I was skewing it noticeably one direction or the other to try to get that line that goes across this perfect. And now that I've just screwed up my flatness here, let me fix that again. Oh, crap. So I've got that all the way up, so I'm going to back that down, and then we are going to pull this back and try to get it really close. Clamp it down, make sure it's against the guide there. Now I can roll this forward. Okay. So now I am just going to take a few passes. That's all you do. Just put some pressure, try to hold it even. Hold on. Hold it even, and move it back and forth. You can't do circles or any other motion. It has to just be back and forth. And that is plenty to see what this thing's up to. So here's a problem right off the bat. So as you can see, I now have a third bevel on the interior right there. So I actually need to tilt this thing up more. And so I'm just going to screw this in a little bit back and forth. Check it again. I think I might be good, so I'm going to keep going for a second. And this is on 1000 grit because I already have this thing sharp. All right. So you can see that third bevel is disappearing. I'm dead flat on there. Now we're going to watch for unevenness left to right. And I think I already see it it's digging in a lot more there on that side than that side. I'll go just a little bit, even though it's going to mess this thing up, just so I can show you how pronounced it becomes. I don't want to go too far because to fix it is a pain in the rear. So let's see here. Actually, I think I got it the opposite. I think this side is getting smaller. So let me just hit this a bunch. For a $200 item, I suppose extra time on this review is worth it. Yeah, so that is very pronounced now. I mean, again, it's hard for the camera to pick it up, but you know, I could go get my caliper and we could measure that. Maybe that's what I'll do. But that side is so much smaller than this side. Now that I've already done this to it, to correct it, I'm going to shim it this way, eyeballing it, and then I basically have to grind off an entirely another line, new line, to get that back fixed. So, so the concern here is that when I put this back in the plain body, that as I go to cut, this thing is going to be skewed ever so slightly when I don't want it to be, because that just means I'm going to have to correct it here, and I shouldn't need to correct it there. Is it the end of the world? No. For a $200 item, should it do that? No. At least my opinion. I'm sure someone can maybe help me be a little bit more sympathetic in the comments to the engineering principles at work here. Maybe it's just nearly impossible, that just the slightest perturbation makes this not be square. But anyway, I will continue, and I think I'm just gonna put this, I don't know that I can put a tertiary bevel on this, because this is all the way up. Let's see. Let me see if we can get one. I'm just running out of space on this thing. So this thing is so low, I don't think I can do it. Oh yeah. So this is where it's really gonna show up in a really bad way. Luckily I can fix it pretty easily. Okay, so now we have a tertiary bevel on this side and none on that side. Let me see if I can get the camera to pick that up. Oof, there we go. Man, it's just so ever so slight. But right there, you can see that extra line that's like right there. But it is not on this side. It ends about there. So I will put it on there a little bit stronger, just to see if I can get it where you guys can see it a little better. I really don't want to do the work to fix this thing, but I do want to show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So actually now, basically I've ground now a new bevel starting here, ending there. So it starts there and ends right on the tip of the edge on the other side. So let me see if I can get it to glean just right so you can see the line running inside that secondary bevel. I got a little too crazy with it. Yeah, it's not going to show. But anyway, I mean, you have to, you can barely see it there. You'll have to take my word for it that it's just not square. And so right now I have two bevels on the edge here, a single bevel halfway up. It's sharp. I mean, there's rolls all the way along the edge there. And so now if I just ever so slightly now I'm bringing that down. I wonder if I can get that to show you now. It's really pronounced. It's almost like I have the wrong light. Let me see. Well, there. See it? See how skewed that is? That is not a trick of the camera. That is how skewed it is. Yep, totally right there. You can see it. So now, we're gonna fix that. But I just thought of another way to maybe pronounce that further. Let's just run this across the 3000 grit for a second. Actually, I'll put it back the way it was. Oh, crud. I messed that up. See if I can polish that out. And then we'll really see the difference. Whew, it's so bad now. All right, so I'm starting to actually kind of work it out. Oh yeah, let's come back into this light here. Okay. There it is. See it on the left side there? That secondary line. It's right there. Again, not a trick of the camera. You can see how it dives off only about a centimeter, half inch, quarter inch, 3/4 inch, no, half inch over. So, no bueno. So I am going to leave that the way it is for now, and to show you how I would finish this up. And this is showing you a little bit of the Rob Cosman method, and he learned it from someone else. But essentially what we do is take this and do this. Because this is 3000 grit, I'm going at it about 5 times as long as I would on that 1000 grit. That's normally where I would do it. Essentially, I would jump from the 1000 to the 16,000. But now you can see a nice shiny bit right there. It coincides with that nice bevel we put on. Can't put a tertiary bevel, so here's what I'm going to do with that honing guide. Here's actually what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put a tertiary bevel on it, find the first bevel, that's going to be about the second bevel, that's going to be my third bevel. Should be all it should take. Got a little bit of a bowing there. Find the first bevel. Boy, that's pretty fine, thin blade. Second bevel's about there. Third bevel. Ugh, come on. Having a table that moves means I gotta be really slow. So this is a bevel that I cannot put on with the home guide. And I would really do this differently if I wasn't. All right, well, you're not, I just don't think there's any way we're gonna get this to show up. But we'll try really quick. Just show you there's a tertiary bevel on there. Now, well, you can kind of see it. It's that super bright line right at the very end. So I guess you can't see it. So, because this is kind of a crappy blade, I'm just gonna hit that really quick since that 3000 is wet. Normally it wouldn't need to do that. Well, don't need to do that, period. And we'll run it on here. Oh yeah, run this really quickly on the back side, like so. Nice and shiny. Now, again, find that bevel, come up, come up. And if you want to learn how to do this, look up Rob Cosman. Guy is amazing. Learned a lot from him, and it would not be doing justice for me to explain his method. All right. Now you should be able to see, well, again, the light. You see a super shiny end. And let's see if we can get that line, that white line to show up again. Secondary, right there. That really super bright little line going along my finger is that third super sharp bevel. So this old chisel was beat to junk. I went ahead and recut in every line on here by hand, except this bevel here. I cut that bevel in with this hone guide. Now, the thing is wonky. If you want that to be square like I got it, it is really, really difficult to do with that. It does not want to line up. So you have to kind of wonk it this way or that way when you're in there, and run it a little bit, kind of see how it's cutting, and then finally, when you get it where you want it, you just got to go through all the grits hard and recut all the way. I mean, I probably spent an hour alone on that edge to get it, and then I did a double bevel, actually the unicorn focus, the unicorn method on it. So yeah, you can see it there. The glare, well, come on, I just had it. There it is, right there. See that? Anyway, I did that by hand. So, is this worth it? No, absolutely not. No way in heck would I spend that kind of money again on that guide. If I had done this without using that, I just would have brought it to the bench grinder and put an edge on the flat side of the grinder, the inside or outside of the stone, and gotten it close, and then brought it up through the grits that way. It's just, I can't justify $200 to put a bevel on, especially because at the end of the day, when I go to sharpen, after I get bevels cut, even on a fresh pair of chisels, I'm not gonna use this thing. And I thought I would. I thought if it worked really, really, really well, it would be really nice to be putting perfect bevels on your chisel. But really, I mean, you're putting a second or third bevel on anyway. So I don't know what I was thinking. I regret it, basically. I regret this purchase. Will I use it again? Yeah, I'll probably use it again because I spent $200 on it, and I regret it. So confirmation bias, whatever, I'm going to use it because I bought it. I'm going to get frustrated with it though, and eventually I'll probably it'll end up in some junk drawer somewhere and never see the light of day. So that's how we do it. Rabbit hole junkies, man. It's in the name.